I think as a video game community, as a Pokemon community, we don't hate these games enough. And I think we should hate them a lot more. Like, way more.
Many men wish death upon me. Blood in my eye, dog, and I can't see. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be. And niggas trying to take my life away.
Now, before I get into this, I just want to say very plainly that these are my opinions. I'm not arguing objective truth. I'm just saying what I feel and how I'm surprised other members in the community don't feel the same way. I'm just opening up the floor for conversation. This is just my opinion. And there's not a motherfucking thing you can do about it. There's not a motherfucking thing you could do about it. I wish one of you goofy motherfuckers would try to do something to me about what the fuck I think. I wish one of y'all. I have a Patreon if you want me to stay alive so that I can keep doing this. It's $2. It's $2 and you get all my stuff early, and it's fun and it's cool. And I do a podcast with my cousin, and that's on there, and that's not anywhere else. You can't get that nowhere else. That's top shelf shit. That's high grade shit you missing out on. Come on, $2. $2, please. Okay, bye. Please think about it. Okay, love you. Now, I don't know why. Could not tell you why, but for some reason, this generation pisses me all the way the fuck off. Everything about this generation makes me unyieldingly fucking angry. The issues don't start at Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. They actually start with Sun and Moon proper. Because I don't like them. I just don't like them. I believe it started with these trailers. We would get these trailers of these Pokemon, and we would see the Pokemon's abilities and what the Pokemon looked like, and they would introduce us to the starters, and then the starter evolutions, and then everything else. And after the 10th or 11th trailer of a Pokemon reveal, I began to despise these games before they even came out. For me, Pokemon is about exploration and discovery. So when you take that part out of the game by literally revealing the Pokemon, you ruin that part of the experience for me. My favorite part of the game is going into a Pokemon game completely ignorant. No knowledge at all of any of the Pokemon and what they're doing outside of Pokemon that were in previous generations. And then figuring out what they do, what they evolve into, and how they look. And this game came with a heavy rollout of just a goo gob of monsters that ended up being spoiled for me. Everything about this game got spoiled for me. And I tried to mute it. I tried to stay away from it. I actively didn't look at the trailers, but the fucking internet, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, nobody would shut the fuck up. So I ended up playing a game where I kind of knew what all the monsters would look like. I kind of knew what all of the starters would look like. And I had an idea of what team I wanted to build already. And that's just not how I play Pokemon, and that's not how I like playing Pokemon. So it all got ruined for me. It all got fucking stomped into the ground for me. I didn't have fun with that. And I get it, they were doing it to build hype around the games, but it's Pokemon. We were gonna fucking buy it anyway. We were never gonna not fucking buy it. We were always gonna fucking buy it. And I know it's not Pokemon's fault that the internet spoiled it for me, but it is Pokemon's fault that they created material that could spoil these games on purpose in order to get people interested in the games. It felt less like an experience and more like a battle simulator. This is what you can do with these monsters. Hey, meta players, this is what these Pokemon are good for. This is the function that this creature has on your team. That's just not fun for me. That wasn't, come on kids, discover new monsters. The ones that we showed you already. And showed you the abilities of, and showed you the Z move of, and gave away the typing of. So there's nothing to discover. Discovery! Yay! This generation was sucked dry of all of its intrigue before it was fucking released. Make no mistake, I still enjoyed playing Sun and Moon when I was playing them. I have enjoyed most Pokemon games to a point. that I've played, even the ones I really don't like. I haven't fully despised the Pokemon experience, I think, since Scarlet and Violet. That's the first time I really played a game, and I'm like, no, I'm not having fun with this. I'm not enjoying this game. I don't like this game. I really don't like this game. Scarlet and Violet were the first time that happened. That's a different video. But I just remember feeling a little bit empty after beating Sun and Moon, and then Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon came out, and I was sold on the idea that they added more to the story and that we would be able to play with the Ultra Wormholes, and I was let down. I remember these trailers where they talked about being able to run through the Ultra Wormholes and how they made a video game out of it and how interesting and cool that was. And I was in. I was all the way the fuck in. Right? They sold me on the Ultra Wormholes and being able to interact with the Ultra Beast more and then being more integrated into the story. And then I played the fucking game. And no, the fuck they weren't. They weren't. We weren't regularly getting attacked by Ultra Beasts. More Ultra Wormholes popped into the world throughout the game. All of that still happened at the end. The two people from Ultra Space who showed up inside cameos did not make themselves important to the story until the very end of the game. And you couldn't interact with the fucking Ultra Wormholes until the end of the game. They sold me a game by telling me that I would have a fundamentally different experience on post-game content. On shit that I couldn't access until I beat the Elite Four and beat the big main bad guy any fucking way, which I have always had to do. I felt lied to. For the first time ever, I truly felt like Pokemon fucking lied to me. Dexit gets a lot of flack for Pokemon lying to people, but the first time it happened was fucking Alola. Alola lied to us about how much that story changed and what we would be able to do throughout that game. They lied to us. Everything in those trailers were things that happened at the end of the fucking game. Pokemon lied to us about the experience that we were going to have in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And I remember being so fucking disappointed when I got to the end going, everything that I bought this game for doesn't happen until 26 hours in. And that's every other game in the franchise. And you know what? They did the exact same shit with Team Rainbow Rocket. They did the exact same shit with Team Rainbow Rocket. I thought they were going to be a part of the story. They made a big deal about them in the trailers. Where was Team Rainbow Rocket? At the end of the fucking game. Again, at the end of the fucking game. Everything good or interesting about this game, all these big changes, all these wonderful things that were going to give us a fundamentally different experience of Sun and Moon, occurred in the fucking post game, meaning we got the same Sun and Moon with a couple of extra things that did not come to fruition or matter until the end of the fucking story. They tacked on 20 minutes worth of shit to a game that was mediocre and made it kind of the same amount of mediocre but a little bit longer. And I didn't fucking like that. I was pissed off at Pokemon. For the first time ever, Pokemon truly lied to me in my fucking face. And I have not forgiven them or trusted them since. And since then, they have continued to let me down more and more and more as they've released games. I think truly the last Pokemon games I truly enjoyed were X and Y, and I had to ignore the story to enjoy X and Y. I looked at how many Pokemon I can catch in a route, and as a dude who likes catching a shitload of Pokemon and having multiple teams, by the time I go to the Elite Four, like multiple fully trained teams, I'm like, yo, you can catch so many Pokemon in this game early on. This is sick. And that is the only part I interacted with, because if I actually applied critical thought to X and Y, I'd probably end up hating them too. And maybe that's what adulthood is. Maybe you go back to a thing you like and you don't like it anymore because you're just not 19 anymore. You're just not 12 anymore. You're just not 5 anymore. You know, put a number on it. I'm not that anymore. I'm 30 years old. I'm different. I'm into different shit. But God, I have never felt more misled by a game than by Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And Sun and Moon were very mediocre to me. And that's why I think that Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon deserve a bit more hate than we actually give them.